.365 Sports.
Welcome into the Green and Gold Game Day Show, 365 Sports. I am Faith Lynch. I am here with Matt Mosley. Happy Saturday is an away game, Baylor versus Cincinnati, and we are here in the studio. Matt, it's so good to be with you.
It is good to be with you, and it's going to be a fun day. I hope it's a fun day for the Bears, but there's a lot to talk about in this game, and there's a lot riding on it. And so I'm excited to get going. There's some stuff on my mind for Mosley's Mind segment. I mean, I would like to just get right to it, but we're going to wait. We'll wait a little bit on that. I'm excited about some of these fan polls that we have, some of the interaction that we'll have out there on the Green and Gold Game Day program. But a lot of people were reaching out to me this very morning, just asking me how this thing could go, what's happening. I think people are looking at the trajectory of this program and of this coach. And boy, this feels like a major, crossroads game. And I feel like we say that kind of weekly, but man, I think if you fall back to 500, and then I know Scotty Swingler, our fearless producer, he's very worried about that homecoming crowd.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people are worried about the homecoming crowd. But before we get into more, let's go ahead and launch our fan vote for the first hour. Which unit will have the biggest influence on the outcome of today's game? Baylor offense, Baylor defense, Cincinnati offense, Cincinnati defense. Which unit will have the biggest influence on the outcome of today's game? Make sure you scan the QR code, interact with the poll, vote. Scotty and I will also give our answers when that time comes.
Okay. I mean, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
You and Scotty.
We have to also interact in the poll.
Okay, good.
We can also be a fan of our own show.
It's just the two of you guys. Yeah, that'll be doing that. Now, I'm going to, which unit, though, is going to be the most impactful or important? Now, again, where you would lose me, so the audience has to do something with
right? Don't they scan the QR code?
Yeah.
Can I get a head nod? No. Yeah. Andrew said, kind of. Okay.
Yeah. All right. There's different ways you can do it. And you can interact with us. And we're glad to have you interacting. Send messages to us. We might read them. We've been known to flash things up on the screen. This is going to be a very interactive show. And it's a fun show. And, I just look at that little mini helmet, that Cincinnati helmet that's sitting right there in front of me there. And they've got the scariest mascot, by the way. Of all the little, not the live, is there actually a thing like it's a bearcat? But they're actual, it's like a 9-foot tall, to me, it's the most intimidating. You might think the guy with a gun, there is gunplay from West Virginia. He carries around like a musket and things, but people in like a coonskin hat, I just don't fear. But that bearcat is it a
larger mascot than most?
Oh my gosh. and I don't know how they do it because I think it's just a normal sized person in there, but it's like an 8-foot Herman Munster looking, and it's a real creepy look. I mean, I don't know. I think it's on the internet. I think you might be able to find it. No, there's Mr. Wolf at NC State. Mr. Wolf's a big, tall mascot, but this mascot, it's I don't know. There's Serper, the Carolina Panthers is a weird one, but to me, this one is the most intimidating mascot.
Okay, now that you say that, I feel like I have seen pictures.
Okay,
because I've played volleyball because they're.
Are they good at volleyball? What did they bring to us in volleyball?
They're okay.
Ooh, she's just trying to be nice.
They lost their
Pearson.
They had a good freshman libero.
They have no libero.
She was good for them last year, and then Faith Frame, which we've had the same name, so that's kind of fun. But she transferred to Arizona State and is doing really well for them. Yeah. Okay. So now that I'm like looking at it, I feel like the legs on this mascot are longer than most. Now that you say that, I always just kind of thought it was like maybe he just looks strange because I've never seen him in person. But I will say
it's like a big bad wolf, really more than a bear cat. And it's in the height is just like almost like Wembanyama, almost like seeing Wemby show up out there
in a bear cat suit.
Leave my glasses on.
But the Cosmo for BYU.
Now that's a good dancer. He's kind of cool
because he does a lot of flips and things, and I think it's really fun. You cannot see Bruiser doing a backflip or something like that.
Okay, we're gonna hate on Bruiser and Marigold. And that'll obviously, for a lot of reasons, that'll make Scotty mad. But the Baylor mascots there, Cosmo, the BYU mascot, probably the most versatile and most talented. I think this is did they have this written out this way that there would be mascot talk early?
I don't think that was in our rundown, but Scotty's shaking.
I would say the voting so far, if I was leading the voting, if I was going to say, okay, what's the most important? Like, let me tell you, I would look at it from like, what's the least important unit? And the least important unit is the Baylor defense. And that's just because like we're now at a point where that doesn't matter. We know what's going to happen there.
Least important or least important or something that you wish you would see more of, because I feel like the defense should be so important today because Brendan Sorsby, the quarterback, like being able to stop his offense, I feel like that would be a good key to today.
It doesn't.
Correct?
No, like they do not have the ability
that's
to do that. So Baylor, like he has 24 touchdowns and 1 interception. They run the ball beautifully. So I think you keep it real and
keep it real, but you're saying that it's not like in a perfect world, the most important unit today should be Baylor
offense.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you got to get 45 or more to win. And I think it's possible. Mm-hmm. I'm not dismissing the ability to beat them 52-45 or 45-38. I think that's out there. I think this quarterback, I think Sawyer is capable of having a monstrous day against Cincinnati. Yeah. Now, the only thing Cincinnati does well on defense is something kind of important. They're actually good in the red zone. They'll let you race up and down the field. And whereas Baylor, if you get inside the 20, they just kind of welcome you on in. And so it's like an 80-something percent. It's like 82, 83%. Or, maybe a tick below that. And it is, I think it's 48% for Cincinnati, which is pretty good. They're really bad through most of the field. And they give up tons of yards, and they're not good against the pass. And you can run on them again a little bit. But they get stingy down there around the goal line. So that's one area you kind of have to worry about. But, I mean, you just need everybody. Scotty is on every week. He's a huge Trig guy. But then I'll get a text if Trig has a drop or something because of a dispute Scotty and I had many weeks ago. And the truth is, Trig we all know, is unbelievable.
He's unreal.
And this is there's simply every game you go in and we're going to win that matchup. Now, what Cincinnati did is they lost a really good tight end, and they went out and they found 2 good ones. But it takes two to even be close to Trigg. They actually have a good starting tight end, as Cincinnati does. But Trigg is a monster. And then if you could unleash the rest of that receiving core, like when you see Cole Wilson and then, kind of getting Ashton back in to things, like you're reminded of like how scary this group is at Baylor. And then to see Lorena's own against TCU, Jaden Porter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was kind of fun. And he also, usually like a guy who's never caught a college pass or maybe just caught a couple, doesn't have like the great touchdown dance ready to go.
He was on it.
Yeah. I always thought one of the best touchdown dances was the New York Giants had a guy named Victor Cruz, and he had a really good little salsa dance that he did. Yeah. And that was kind of what Porter, you wouldn't expect somebody straight out of Lorena to just be like, I'm going to dance my first time in the end zone. Like John Henry, who happens to be from Lorena and played when I was at Baylor, did not dance. He handed the ball to the official and ran back. But this is going to be, I think this is going to be one of the, there's some great, like SEC has this monster triple header today. And it's just, there's 3 games. One of them's going on right now with Ole Miss and Oklahoma. And we'll update you on some of these scores and everything. But the Big 12, like I'm looking forward to the wraparound today because I think there's some fun games there. I think there's only one game that's just a non-game, and that's Oklahoma State and Tech. But I think I think everything in who would have ever thought that a proud program like Oklahoma State would go into a game against Texas Tech and be the line on that game is 37 and a half. 37 and a half. As we get closer to this game, this line was at 4.5. Yesterday, it got bet down to 3.5. Some money came in on the Bears. And so I find this very interesting because I would have thought at Cincinnati with the way they were playing and everything, that wouldn't have been the case.
Yeah. But speaking of money, thank you to CMB Bank for sponsoring today's segment, setting the stage. Want to shout them out before we get any further. But just a great bank to be able to partner with, and it knows excellence. It should be your bank of choice. Matt is always great about giving up the lines. That's something that I need to educate myself more in.
What's that?
The lines of the game. But just want to thank CMB Bank as we're talking about the lines.
That's right.
You're welcome.
If you need cash to take down to the local bookie, I'm sure that's what they want us to do at CNB. Thank you, Brian Fonville, one of the top executives in all of Central Texas, great friend of ours, the Nesbitt family. And Faith, we know a lot of these families, but the owners of that bank are people your parents, your grandfather, your grandparents would know. It's pretty remarkable. And it's a local bank. They got 2 locations here, one in Temple, one actually in Austin. And I think the one in Austin might be on 6th Street. It's right down there where a lot of fun stuff is happening. But it's an incredible bank, and they've been the longtime presenting sponsor of the Mosley Show. Love having them on the Green and Gold Game Day show. And then we'll be kind of moving around town. We have other sponsors today that serve wonderful fried foods. And, it's a wonder Scotty stays as thin as he is. Loves some good fried gator from time to time. But CNB, we appreciate Central National Bank, Nesbitt family, everybody involved over there. Which is yes. I'm sorry, Faith. I thought perhaps you might want to say something. I'm also comfortable with silence, but it seemed like perhaps you might have something to share.
I'll be honest with you. I had Friday Night Football last night, rolling in. This is a game that I'm glad you're excited as well.
No, okay.
No, I think you're correct in saying that. Playing against a top 25 opponent, like what a better time to be able to get out there and win. This could be really great for Baylor to add to their confidence.
Yeah, which is may not be real high right now. The Bears, the way coming off that TCU loss, and there's just so much riding on this. I think the TCU hangover for fans is that was the 5th time in the last 6 opportunities against TCU, and that's really hard for fans to get over. The great thing about football is that from week to week, the players are a lot more resilient than the fans are, and maybe media or anybody, and they tend to over the course of time. I think Monday was really rough on this team and rough for Dave Aranda and everybody, and they were still kind of hurting from that loss. And then they started kind of getting ready. And what you're saying is true. I mean, you got games coming up you got a chance to go on a run. Utah's in the future. It's a good team. Everybody else, you really have a great shot of beating, but it starts with Cincinnati, and they are top 25. And of course, if they beat them, then they'll knock them out of the top 25. But this is a really big time opportunity. And what a showcase this is. This is a showcase of arguably 2 of the top 3 quarterbacks in the conference. I mean, there's some go. I love the way Bear Bachmeier is playing. And I've even gotten past the number he uses. But Faith, it is time. You know how much I put into this. You know how much excitement I have for this. It's time to look inside my mind. Are you ready for this?
Is it? I think so. I think we may go to break first before we get into Matt Mosley's mind. But I'm glad you're ready, because I think everyone should be prepared for what is going on up there. So when we come back, I'm Faith Lynch, Matt Mosley. Stay tuned for Matt Mosley's mind.
Nation rolls along with Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Allen Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by, let's be friends.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
At Camp Info Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
Welcome back into the Green and Gold Game Day Show, 365 Sports, here with Matt Mosley, Faith Lynch, Scotty Swingler, who's not with us on stage today, but is producing.
No longer with us.
No, he's here. It's just, no, he's okay. All right. You know what? We're going to hopefully, Matt's going to talk about Mosley's mind.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, Faith. It is time. And by the way, Brazos Landing, cannot wait. Cannot wait to get over there. Scotty and I have been known to show up there and stick around for about a 4-hour game. And Scotty loves a good fried platter. Just fry up anything you can find, and they'll put it on the plate. And then you get that combo with the guacamole and the queso. And there's a kind of a mango salsa, Scotty, just a beautiful salsa. And there's some of the fish and chips, great over there. And then it's right on the banks of the Brazos River, and the breeze, kind of the fall breeze will come in. And man, it's a great place. And so, in fact, about 2:00, I'm going to wander over there. Just going to kind of walk right off the set. I love it. I love it. Brazos Landing. Thank you, Lindsay family. They got to be over there right now. Surely they have the YouTube show, the Green and Gold Game Day, up and watching us and observing us as we do this important work heading into Cincinnati and Baylor. Very, very important. Now, what's on Mosley's mind? All right. I wish we had the breaking news sounder. Scotty, can we play that? I just love it so much. It's not really breaking news. Is that over at the Alico building? Can you go get that?
I'm gonna need you guys to get it together over there, Matt.
Scotty, no, this is better if it's this way, I promise. I didn't know you had
I
a
know.
little
Wow,
mic
that
over
was
there.
a nice little surprise.
Scotty put Pearson on that. I want to hear Pearson's done some good things. I like I got the haircut. I'm thinking about going with that. If I could kind of get mine to blow in that direction. Okay. It is what's on Mosley's mind, and you can rechart, Faith, the season. Like you're 4-3. This thing, we're already in the mindset. Unfortunately, we've seen too much negative stuff. Had a lot of negative. I was negative about the defense. I'm going to continue to be. But 4-4 feels like, like the rest. It's taken us back to some bad memories from 2023 season. And isn't it funny how perspective changes? Like, we thought the way 2022 ended was bad.
Yeah.
Until we saw 2023. And like 2022, now we look back and go, those were the good old days. Loved those losses. Just because it wasn't quite so awful. They got to 6-3 that year. Yeah. They went to Oklahoma as we were saying goodbye to the Sooners and put it on the Sooners and ran the ball down their throats. I've kind of given up on that. I don't think, and one of the scary things about the run game, like I love that Baylor has Bryson Jackson, and I love hearing how violent he is. Bryson Jackson used to play linebacker. Yes. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Just wanted to
please. Jump in anytime. I promise. Yes, that was an old linebacker. I think he wore number 45. This is number 7, Bryson Washington, and from Franklin. I love him. We need to see more of him. And when you go into a big-time game, rivalry game against TCU, and you get 11 touches or whatever it was, I don't even know if it was that much. And then we hear after the game, he's a violent runner. And that's great. We don't want to ask him not to be. And I'd like to say, I think there's a lot of violent runners. I don't think he has the market cornered on hitting the line hard or seeking contact.
He didn't look healthy to me.
I don't think he's ever been healthy this year.
Just does I think he is a violent runner. I think he can be that guy. Watching him last season, he was like a bowling ball. I think of Bryson Washington, think of a bowling ball. He just goes through guys. He just moves people. But I feel like watching him early on in TCU, I was like, he just doesn't look healthy. So I don't know. I think props to him for being out there because we have Dawson Pendergrass out, Bryson Washington, who is our guy right now. You have a young freshman. I don't think you can play without him right now.
Well, they have been, because he can't last in these games. Yeah. And so it's very frustrating because you can't tell him, okay, don't run so hard. They do have Caden Knighton.
Yeah.
And they do have.
Great. He's great. I've really enjoyed watching him.
And the young Michael Turner.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
know.
know. You were giving me a look like I
Michael
invented somebody after my Bryson thing.
No.
Man, I think we got to witness something last week with him, and I do think he's running hard. And you need the run game just to keep them honest. I think they're about ready to give up on like the explosives. And boy, you brought up something great a minute ago. The Bryson Pendergrass 1-2 punch was amazing because you leaned on a defense for a good long while, and then Dawson would like break it down, and you would kind of ride the hot hand, but you would also know that, hey, Dawson, if we just keep using him as a sledgehammer. So that was a bad injury. Now, I think Arizona State's playing without Tyson this week. I mean, other teams play without great players. K-State has had their running back up and down all season. So let's not act like the Bears are the only ones that have trouble at running back. But, man, I part of the problem that we don't talk about enough is Egbedian is really, I think, when he's healthy and out there, he's putting up great stats according to the film checkers, the film graders like at PFF. He's doing great things. But the rest of that line has not quite lived up to its billing. Had some very good moments last year. But I think we took it for granted. I think when we think back on last year, we have a hard time getting past like Sawyer's numbers were so great and he was so unbelievable. We think about Sawyer and the receivers and how fun that was and everything. And you forget a little bit that the running backs were unbelievable. Like Bryson was setting records. He was going into the season as the best running back in the Big 12, perhaps. And it just has not shaped up like that. Not because he's not talented, but because they can't get him healthy. And I think that was a damning thing for this team coming off a bye week. I think their thought is when you come off a bye week, you got to get your legs back under you, get some players back in, also have some fresh ideas, a fresh approach. And I think that was really upsetting that the defense overall still just had so many breakdowns in the inability to cover anybody on the back end. And it's tough. Now, Dave Arend, and I was trying to make my way into the stadium after somebody tried to snake my credential. Did you hear about this?
I saw your tweet. Did you tweet out about it or text?
Yeah, we addressed it on the Bosley show this week.
What happened? Tell us.
No, somebody reported to TCU, and they said they were there to replace me for the game.
You have so many fans. And everyone wants to be Matt Mosley.
I think they knew it wasn't me because of how young he looked. I think
that's actually crazy.
I think the young man, Scotty, do we have a picture of him?
Oh no. Oh my gosh. Did you actually identify
no,
him?
I've put out a wanted poster and I've put it kind of all over town. Young man is a Pike at Baylor, member of the Pi Kappa Alpha group. And we're not going to say his name.
Do you know who it is?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I don't know the young man. I know his last name. I know.
But we know he's a Pike.
He's a Pike. And I don't know. I mean, I was always up for a good Pike swamp. I don't know if they still do that. No, the Pike, they don't do that anymore.
I've never heard
Pike
of
they had a good party. The Pike swamp was their big thing.
Nice.
And they did some good things. And and then the Sigma News did something where they got involved in some seafood and that kind of thing. All right. This game, to me, 2 years ago in Cincinnati, the final score, they had kind of shootouts against UCF and they had one against Cincinnati. Yeah. And I think they came back and won that game like 35-34, something along those lines. This is Dave Aranda today. It feels like his future is kind of hanging in the balance. And I do know Baylor fans that are kind of thinking, well, let's go ahead and kind of lose a few more games and so we can have regime change. And I think the scary thing about that, and I have a hard time thinking like that because I really want the Bears to win at all times. And so I have a hard time getting in that headspace. But man, they really, really need this. He needs it. And a top 25 win on the road would be like a kind of a big credibility thing.
Oh yeah, it'd just be it'd be a nice burst of energy, I think, for this team. Of anytime you can get an upset, if you would. I mean, that's huge. Like Baylor's definitely going into this game, I think, as the underdog. But what a better time to be the underdog and get a win. I think it would be such a great story, be a really great revival for this team. A little bit of, hey, we can do this. We're still in it. I mean, you have a guy like Sawyer. You have guys like Bryson Washington who are doing their job well, are competing well, are competitors. Like, they don't stop being these massive competitors when maybe things are uncharted waters. Still a lot of season left too. So I'm on the fence of the whole, like, we're not happy. We have some time. Like, we don't need to make rash decisions, like firing coaches mid-season. I just think that's a bit ridiculous. Like,
it does happen. I don't think it'll happen here.
No, I don't think. I don't think so. And I don't know.
But as Scotty knows, there's also a recruiting class hanging in the balance as well, and a very talented group. And so there's a lot of different ways this could go. And today is huge. Now, there are other games going on in the Big 12. And I think Faith will do. And boy, thank you, Alan Samuels. Alan Samuels is going to bring us the Big 12 wraparound. We will do that next.
National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball. We didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge?
Yes.
And you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Collin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
Falconberry Construction is now Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out gathercoremodeling.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Green and Gold Game Day.
Welcome to a special edition of the Doomsday Podcast, coming to you from the Star in the players' meeting room with defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus.
You now have two responsibilities this year that you didn't have last year, and that's being a first-time head coach and calling plays for Dak Prescott for the first time. But now we're doing something that we do annually. We get Stephen Jones's perspective on this football team and how it was built and what expectations should be.
Drive in the fall at Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Huge savings and the best selection in Central Texas. From powerful Ram trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, to adventure-ready Jeeps and stylish new Dodges, we've got the right ride for you. Upgrading, downsizing, or buying your very first vehicle, Alan Samuels has you covered with friendly service and deals that make driving fun. Don't miss the Drive in the Fall event, only at Alan Samuels.
Come by, let's be friends.
Thanks for sticking around with us this morning. Green and Gold Game Day Show, 365 Sports, away game for Baylor. So we're in studio here with Matt Mosley. Sorry, it came out a little strange.
You're fine.
With Matt Mosley. I'm Faith
very
Lynch.
smooth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Everything's just going real smooth today.
I think so. I've had a good time.
Yeah, I've had a great time.
I wouldn't know what to do if things were too smooth, but it is time for our Big 12 wraparound brought to you by Alan Samuels. Oh, man. And even just my Jeep Cherokee. My daughter now drives right over there from Alan Samuels. Thank you, Ted Teague. Thank you for the dependability that 2018 Jeep Cherokee Laredo, the way it's handling, even still, Faith, so many miles we've put on it, still handling beautifully. And the trucks over there, unbelievable. Those 1500s, the Laramie package and the deals. I'll give you more on that as we get into the program, but I want to get into this Big 12 wraparound. It's some fun games today, including the one we're getting you ready for, Baylor and Cincinnati. We will have coming up, we'll go behind enemy lines. We'll have our Bear essentials to this game, and so we'll have a lot to cover in that respect. But I want to go around the league a little bit, and Faith, I want to give you an opportunity on any of these games you want to hop in on. I'll pause and then I'll cue you. But
thank you for that. Thanks for the smooth transition.
Happy to be there. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
We have West Virginia, which Pete Souza is calling that game today.
Oh, good.
So that's kind of fun. But someone's playing right now, correct?
Yeah, I was. That's what I was going to give.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Certainly was happy to give some of these scores.
Okay, Matt.
But I think it's good to just acknowledge that someone is playing. K-State right now has a 35-17 lead over the Jayhawks. And boy, Jayhawks, it's either homecoming or parents' weekend. I've got buddies who have kids at Kansas, and they're there on campus trying to have a good time. And the old K-Staters have come to town. And as Grayson Grunhafer was mentioning to Scotty and me just the other day, K-State, I think Scotty and I kind of had K-State as a descending type team on a recent graphic we did. Scotty, we may need to bring that up for like Bear Essentials or something. I love that graphic. But K-State, he thought, was still a good team, even though they got off to that 2-4 start. They had that tough ending against the Bears, and they are playing better. And you knew Avery Johnson was going to get it going at some point when you have that kind of a threat at quarterback. They've had injuries at tailback. They've had injuries at receiver, but they're playing a lot better. And K-State right now in the early action. And see, everything else is still ahead of us. But I do want to look at some of these matchups because at 2:30, BYU is at Iowa State. Now I'm trying to remember which these teams Scotty's front running with. Certainly Indiana, because he now has apparel from that school, but BYU also because I think earlier in one of the programs we did from this exact studio, where he had a moment where he threw down a BYU helmet. It's back there somewhere, and had some excitement about that team. And here they are, 7-0. And I find the interesting thing about BYU is that Vegas and others don't buy into this team for some weird reason. Like I think they've earned the right for people who are making these predictions to and setting lines to be favored in a road game, and they almost never are. And there they are sitting at 11 in the country now,
which is crazy. I feel like a lot of people are upset about just the number that the quarterback wears and him being a transfer and like some people being Matt Mosley sitting next to me, but just some people are like with what happened early on, quarterback leaving, new to the Big 12, almost this outlier. When Pete came on during the Auburn game, he kind of said, he was like, hey, watch BYU. They're going to be an outlier in the Big 12 this year. And I think a lot of people need to stick around and pay attention. And I know you just love when I quote Pete, but I think it's true of they're number 11 in the country for a reason. And so I think it is interesting that looking at the Big 12, they're not talked about a whole lot. We're always kind of like, oh yeah, BYU.
I'm fine with you quoting Pete, posting, things on Instagram, you and Pete. The BYU and Iowa State, I think Coach Campbell, he just, even when they start poorly, he kind of gets things, and that is a tough environment. But I think BYU and Bachmeier has one number, weird number or not. And we were looking the other day at some of the weird number quarterbacks over the
Yeah.
years, and Doug Flutie was one of them, number
Oh.
22.
Interesting.
Doug Flutie, Faith, was, and I'm sure you've seen highlights of him and everything, but he was like 5'8" or 5'9", and he was great. He was
Nice.
incredible, and he was he's really the best player in America at that point. And then Boston College famously took down Notre Dame on actually it was against Miami, but that was a huge throw at the Hail Mary at the end of that game. It's a very, very famous moment. But the other games, and at Oklahoma State and Tech, that's just sad. It's 1-6 versus 6-1. And right now the line is up to Tech by 38.5. That's at the same time Baylor starts at 3. I just would only turn over there if you have a degree at one of those schools. And if you have a degree from Oklahoma State, I would not turn it over there. The two late games have my attention, Faith. The Houston Cougars going to Arizona State.
Yeah.
This is kind of
Gonna be a good game.
this is are they fake? Is it real talk? Is it what is this Houston Cougar thing?
Yeah.
I admire them, and I love Willie Fritz, and I think there's a movement right now to be willing to take chances. I don't know if it's a big chance, but like Cincinnati at Indiana, Fritz at Houston, hire an older, experienced coach, even if they've done it kind of at lower levels, and then see where they go. Willie Fritz came from Tulane. Cincinnati came from James Madison. This is a great challenge for Houston. I don't think they have the quarterback nor the offense to really keep up with Arizona State. Now, what they do have is a really good defense.
Yeah.
And
Keep in mind, Jordan Tyson's hurt for that game, though.
Yeah. Tyson is down for that game. Leavitt's been banged up some of this
missed
season.
a game this season. So it'll be interesting to see if he even – I mean, I'm sure he's expected to play, but they also have had a little bit of injury.
Yeah. But Houston lost its defensive coordinator. He went to Tech. He's the Tech defensive coordinator now. But the guy that was there, the internal candidate, was promoted, and he's done a phenomenal job. Their defense has been really good. But that's a good point. Tyson being out, and we'll see, because that's one of the better receivers in the country. But something about – and that's not as late as we usually watch those night Arizona State games. This is a 7 o'clock start over on ESPN2. That one has my attention. And then Colorado at Utah. This is a great opportunity for Dion to get something done. They're only 3-4. Nobody's calling for. Isn't that funny how when Colorado has a little bit of a setback, and they had those two unbelievable players, including the Heisman winner. Nobody's calling for Dion's job, right? It's just like he's fine. They're 3-4, not having a great season, but because he's so electric and he has the personality that he has, it's like why would Colorado? He would have to get on the hot seat at Colorado. He would have to have a bunch of losing seasons in a row. He'd have to go. He'd have to go 2 or 3 in a row to even get on the hot seat.
He's also been through a lot this year, personally,
true.
like having cancer. I mean, overcoming that and dealing with that away from the public. Did you see that they did a like a walk-on practice game, like a non-starter practice? Did you see that? He had all the guys who haven't played this year or maybe aren't going to get as many reps as they want to. They did like a practice/game just for them so they could get some tape. So then when they want to enter the portal, they have some good tape. I thought that was really interesting of like what a different perspective to take mid-season, having guys that typically don't play, saying like, hey, we know you don't play. We know you're probably going to transfer. Like, let's get you some good tape so when you enter the portal, you go. I thought it was a really interesting perspective of like as a teammate, like, hey, like we're mid-season and you're already thinking about jumping ship. Okay, cool. Let's get you some tape. Best of luck. I don't know. It was kind of interesting from that perspective, but just day and age of college football of what's going on. You have to expect that a lot of these guys are going to jump into the portal. And I think it speaks to who Dion is a little bit of him caring about his guys a lot, or the football players that he's going to be able to touch in his career and his time, setting them up for success. So
I like that. It's
kind of cool.
I like that. Back to Allen Samuels for 1 second. Drive into the fall. Allen Samuels, Dodge Chrysler, Jeep Ram in Waco. Powerful Ram trucks that I was talking about, adventure-ready Jeeps. and new Dodges. They've had the right ride for you. Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Come by, Faith. Let's be friends. Faith, it is time. I think we're getting close to needing to go behind enemy lines.
Faith in the field will be our next segment.
That's what I want to do later is behind enemy lines. But next. Faith in the field. No. I've been hearing about this Josh Cameron thing story for a good while now, and he is one of the coolest stories. That Burlsworth for walk-ons, that huge award they give out. I love this player, and I have been very much looking forward to this story.
Yeah, me too. Excited to finally share it with everyone. So stay tuned, stick around, and Faith on the Field will be up next.
Football season, and we can create your outdoor tailgating spaces that is actually a part of your home. Bifold doors that tie in the inside and the outside, and you can gain anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet living space, all while taking in the big game poolside. Call us at Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath, where we can create your unique tailgating space.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
Baylor Nation rolls along with Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Allen Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by, let's be friends.
Everyone, hello. Guys, welcome back to Dear Sports. I am so pumped to be back in the podcast world and filming season 2 of Dear Sports. On this podcast, you're going to find stories from former and current athletes about their journey through sports and the impact it has made in their life. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow our Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on all things Dear Sports. Being a former walk-on myself, it's been really fun to be able to get to know Josh Cameron coming in the same year that he did. And I got to share his story with his mother, with his future fiance, and then with a mentor of his. So please enjoy this piece that Scotty and I have worked so hard on. Young boy dreams of playing college football. For Josh Cameron, that dream was never about fame or attention. He wasn't a 5-star recruit or a household name, just a player driven by heart, hard work, and a deep understanding of where his identity lies.
We had to insist, like, okay, son, we need to leave. After his football practices, he would stay after the practice was over, and he would want to work out with his coaches. And this is when he was young in elementary school. We're like, listen, we've got to go home. We're hungry. From an early age, his goal was always to be a professional football player.
What was it like walking through with him the recruiting process?
I took over Josh's account. Well, actually, the truth is I set up his social media accounts. So let me just put it out there. Josh was so focused on football, he didn't want to do the social media thing. He was just like, yeah, whatever. So I set up his social media accounts. I'm like, son, I need you to, respond to these coaches. We purposely try to keep a very positive environment around them. Because of our faith, we always, just said, hey, just trust God in the process. We want you to trust God. We're trusting God.
Once he got to Baylor, he was met with a new set of challenges, but nothing that Josh Cameron could not handle.
He came in with hunger, a real yearning, I sensed, to really grow.
I remember after the first couple of weeks, and Josh had never told me this before because Josh, he's like, I'll work out. I'm going to get it. I'm going to, all of that. After the first couple of weeks, Josh was like, Mom, these workouts are so hard.
Having been a walk-on at Baylor and knowing the life of a walk-on, to watch him take root, blossom, stay put, when other players who come into their own, so to speak, are looking for where's the grass greener, Josh has been fully committed here.
Freshman year, not only was he on special teams, but because of his hard work in the wide receiver room, he ended up being a backup for Tyquan Thornton. What we didn't understand, we were thinking like a preferred walk-on. Mm-hmm. We thought that meant you're going to get a scholarship probably somewhere in your first year. Mm-hmm. Actually, truth be told, my husband and I thought it meant somewhere in your first semester, you'll get put on scholarship. And then we realized, we started thinking about it. My husband and I were talking, and we started thinking about the number of guys that we had met on the team that were like seniors, and they were still walk-ons. Mm-hmm. So we were like, oh my goodness. At the end of the second semester, that spring, after Josh went through spring ball, he called us one day, and he was boo-hooing. He's crying like so hard. And he's like, Mom. And I'm like, sweetie, what's wrong? What happened? So he finally, he ends up getting the words out saying, Coach Aranda put me on scholarship. December 31st, I ended up getting my double lung transplant. And, lungs came in. They were perfect fit. So that happened. Unfortunately, January 18th of 2024, the doctors were getting me ready to be released for rehab because the transplant went so well. Everything was looking good. Well, January 18th, out of nowhere, I went into cardiac arrest. And when I went into cardiac arrest, I was, I was literally dead for almost 20 minutes. It was, about 19 minutes. And the doctors had no idea what to expect. They obviously prepared my family for the worst. The condition that caused the cardiac arrest, I can't think of the name of it right now, but it has a 1% survival rate, a chance of survival. And that's when you're in the hospital and going to cardiac arrest. I was in the hospital, and I was part of that 1% that survived. Praise be to God. It's such a miraculous thing. But when I started, coming around after a few days, I couldn't do anything. I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how to walk. I didn't know how to talk. I couldn't raise my hands. I was completely, I didn't know how to function. So the rehab journey was super, super hard. I was in the hospital from, December until, I guess, the end of April. And I spent the majority of that time in ICU.
I didn't see much change about him other than him just calling his parents a lot more because he was still at school, so it was a little bit hard for him. But he did travel a lot during that time. He would go to Houston, I think almost every weekend, if it wasn't every other weekend, just so he could be there. And he would I remember one time he called me, he was sleeping on the hospital couch just so he could be there. And that was something that was just so beautiful to me.
It is just so good to see a young man who honors his mom, honors his fiance, and is striving to honor God through that journey.
That whole process and surgery and everything, I think it made him really strong before, like during and after, because even now, like he's seeing his mom, like she's so healthy, and that's her testimony, and that's a testimony that's so beautiful, and he got to be a part of it, and he got to witness it. So I think that's something that he carries to this day, and he'll probably carry it forever.
To watch his growth in the Lord, he is not the same Josh that he was 4 years ago in every way that is good and right and healthy.
Because of what he and my oldest son had to go through with me, while it was really one of the hardest things I've ever been through, I love how God used that to, help advance them and move them into their purpose.
Yeah.
Because our boys became stronger, their faith grew, their faith increased. And it doesn't surprise me that Josh had the breakout season that he had. Because, he was playing for something different. It meant more to him.
Baylor will leave Josh Cameron better than it found him, and Josh will leave Baylor having made his mark. Over his time in Waco, he has grown into a man of faith and a player who honors the Lord in all he does, as he shapes himself into a servant leader devoted to his teammates, friends, and family.
Now, he's such a good leader on the team. So crazy to witness because 2 years ago, it was totally opposite. And it was he was still a leader. He was still Josh Cameron, but it was just in a different form. But now he's in this bigger area with an audience and all these lights on him. And I just think it's so beautiful to see. I just really am excited to just see him flourish.
There's no doubt in so many people's mind, no doubt about his abilities to play the next level. But how is God going to unfold that? The journey of growing deeper with the Lord through that. I'm excited about that for him.
I'm so thankful that he's embraced who he is. He was, we named him Joshua for a reason because we knew that he would be a leader of men at a young age. And it's like with anything, God has a call, God has an identity for all of us. It's up to us to accept it or reject it. Some people, we reject it. We're like, I can't do that. We have the Jonah effect. No, I'm not going to Nineveh. I'm just not going to do it. And, but other people, are like, oh, okay, I guess, whatever the case may be. So I'm super proud of him for accepting who God created him to be.
Being able to share Josh's story just refreshes the soul that college football is more than just a game for a lot of these guys. And we get to see great men of character come out of this game as well. So stick around with us. We will be getting into Behind Enemy Lines when we come back.
Posey, and I'm a third-generation Baylor Bear. During my time playing baseball at Baylor, I started a hat company called Hondo, which started as meek and humble beginnings, has quickly grown into something more. Over 40,000 hats sold, and then over 100 retail locations nationwide. I love vintage Western hats, but couldn't stand the condition they came in, so I decided to make my own. Vintage style, but with modern aesthetics. Thank you so much for making my dream come true, and for enabling what was once a dream to become a reality. God bless.
Drive into fall at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Huge savings and the best selection in Central Texas. From powerful Ram trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, to adventure-ready Jeeps and stylish new Dodges, we've got the right ride for you. Upgrading, downsizing, or buying your very first vehicle, Allen Samuels has you covered with friendly service and deals that make driving fun. Don't miss the Drive into Fall event, only at Allen Samuels.
Come by, let's be friends.
Everyone, hello. Guys, welcome back to Dear Sports. I am so pumped to be back in the podcast world and filming season 2 of Dear Sports. On this podcast, you're going to find stories from former and current athletes about their journey through sports and the impact it has made in their life. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow our Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on all things Dear Sports.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship trained and board certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
Falconberry Construction is now Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out gathercoremodeling.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Green and Gold Game Day.
At CampFinfo Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
Welcome back in. We're going to check our one poll results.
Okay.
Just calling audible on that one, Matt.
Yeah,
But-
no, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's accurate.
Oh, they agree with you, right? Which unit will have the biggest influence on the game?
Oh,
Cincinnati
no.
offense.
No.
53%.
Yeah, that's kind of not a great sign. And boy, thanks, lots of voters.
Yes.
That's great. That is great. Thank you for participating in that. But Cincinnati offense, 53%. That they do kind of agree with my take, which you were trying to like rescue me or something. But I believe the Baylor defense is sort of like not even. It's like you just don't even mention it today.
It just hurts my heart when you say that, though. You know,
know.
like I just
Yeah.
like we can be better, and
Well, we can't though. I mean,
I
there's
want
no
us to so badly.
help
Matt.
is not
Like,
on the way.
I think help can be there. I don't know. I mean, I also watched the TCU game. I did watch with the 4 lightning delays, and I mean,
No.
I do have my
I
opinions.
think you were just
but-
kind of hanging out in Fort Worth, having a
Is that
great
what you think I was
afternoon. You
doing?
were bouncing around the city. I don't know how many of those. I mean, we were trapped in a press box with no food. And at one point late in the game, they said, hey, somebody has some pizza like down the hall. And all the media went running down the hall like we've never seen a pizza. And I used that time to finally be like, I'm going to dismiss myself. We'd been there almost 6 hours. That was almost a 6-hour affair. 11 o'clock game. Hopefully today goes off without a hitch. I do love that Scotty's chosen for this graphic, the Sailor Bear. You got the interlocking BU
Credit to
up
Andrew
there.
Valade
Credit to Andrew.
Is that
Valade.
Andrew?
It is. He has good taste in graphics.
Thanks, Andrew. I'm going to now see. I do this to Scotty. Andrew, I'll be asking you to do some things for me on the fly. I'd like more shots of that creepy. I want to show people like how tall that Cincinnati
Cat is. Oh,
there he is. Yeah, it's a scary deal. But when he stands up, it's about an 8-foot tall animal. I mean, it makes poor Bruiser just look like just a mamby-pamby.
I feel like Bruiser has some more muscle tone than this guy does.
Bruiser has no muscle tone. Seriously, that's all.
Really?
Yeah, this guy is. Whoever that is a scary thing, and it's almost like they have stilts or something in there. It's a tall mascot.
We'll launch our 2 fan votes, sticking with the offensive theme. How many points will the Bears need to score to win today? 14-23, 24-33, 34-43, 44 plus.
44 plus.
Yeah, you said 45. We'll go ahead and stick a nice 45 on there.
Come back to me, please. I love this. I think Scotty's having too much fun with all his camera work because he's just kind of going back and forth. Oh, there we go. My gosh, he's got like 7 angles. Show me more. I would like to see more. There. Yes. No.
Oh wow.
Let's stick with this one. 44 plus. And this really does feel like I'm trying to think of what this could remind us of. Baylor once beat TCU 51-48. I think this could be something similar. You're not going to slow down these Bearcats, but maybe. And I've been I've been almost borderline rude to the defense. Maybe this is when you channel your inner Phil Bennett
Yeah,
Maybe
like
this
that.
is when you reach back to the old days, the Bryles era Bears, and you just get you a takeaway. You get you like an Eddie Lackey interception, or you cause a fumble. You do something to contribute. You just need – they do have some good individual players over there.
We've seen some sparks. Like, I think
Not enough to, like, start a fire.
no,
but
but you've seen some sparks of – you've seen some younger guys this season that I'm excited to watch their junior, senior year. Because if they're doing things right now, I know Matt doesn't want to wait that long, but if you're seeing like some potential now.
Oh, yeah.
Then
2027 is going to be awesome. They could like get down in a stance. What is the song? It only takes a spark to get a fire going. Remember that? That was it's a good Christian. Oh, Faith. Scotty certainly has been around that song at some point down there, Tallowood or somewhere, wherever he's hung out over the years. That's a good one though. It is. And then there's like that, don't let Satan blow it out. That's a different song, but it's similar. It has to do with fires and sparks and that kind of thing. All right. So I really think probably what's going to win that poll is 34 to 43 points is that's what'll win. But what Baylor actually needs is 44. And that's why, you don't want to, I think Sawyer is going to have a little different attitude today. I kind of liked it. I kind of liked it when first of all, they waited a little long for this, but they've been bringing Sawyer out on Mondays. Like, Sawyer, come on out there, man. Come on out there. Get to know the media a little bit. They didn't have him after the Saturday game that they lost, and he threw 3 interceptions, and he probably should have been out there because he's the face of the franchise. He's the biggest leader on the team. He's the best player on the team. And so that's not when you go, hey, Kyler, get out there and face the music. Hey, get your quarterback out there. Monday, he was out there, and I thought he had, by Sawyer standards, a little bit of an edge to him. And I think his message was to heck with he didn't say anything rude about the defense, but let's stop this charade of let's play complementary football. Oh, you need this group to help this group. No. It's pretty simple. Yeah. You're going to have this many possessions a game. You're in this game. You're going to have this many plays. You're going to have hopefully a ton of plays, and you got to score. And you can't be settling for field goals. And this may be a game, and we may at some point go, oh no, he should have kicked the field goal. I don't think this is that game. I think this is the game. It's just score, touchdown. And again, as I mentioned earlier, that is one thing the Bearcats do pretty well. They have a decent red zone defense. In fact, the second best one in the Big 12. Second best Big 12. And maybe either Utah, I think it is Utah, has the best when it comes to limiting those touchdowns. Something Baylor's not good at doing. They need today to occasionally get some form of a stop. So
I think back to your point of to hell with everything, just to revisit that point. But I mean,
put that up as a graphic. To hell with everything. Yes.
But offensively, you can't. As a team, you do your job first, then worry about other people. So, the offense needs to go out there, and I'm going to do my job well and play my position well, so then the rest of the team can do their job. If I'm not taking care of myself first, then how do I expect other people to do their job? So, Sawyer, get out there and go throw for another 400-yard game and do your job, and then the rest will follow. It should. But you can't worry about all these other things. Sawyer's not going to go out there and play defense. He's just not going to do that. It's not going to happen. So, do your job, do your game, and then everything else will follow.
And I hate that other teams can come into a game and they have this thought process of, we got a running quarterback, we got an athletic quarterback, we can run all over them. I will ask this of the defense. I don't care if they give up a ton of points or a ton of yards. Affect the quarterback early in this game. Put a major, not trying to injure anybody, but make him feel you. And that has not happened a lot this year.
Yeah.
And it needs to happen early in this game. And if it's the hyphenated young man that came in from Tulane, if it's Fobbs White, whoever it is, Keaton, put a stick on this quarterback and make him think about something. Now, Scotty Swingler been doing a great job today, but I'd like to get him on camera if we could. And he's going to take us behind enemy lines in the the voice of the Bengals, the voice of the Bearcats, Dan Horde, well known throughout the Midwest, is going to join the Green and Gold pregame show next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge?
Yes.
And you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Colin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
Back 365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day. My name is Scotty Swingler. Good to see you behind the producer's desk today. But hey, I got to speak earlier this week with Dan Horde. I'm a geek. I love play-by-play broadcasters, and he is one of the best. The only guy in the United States of America who does play-by-play for both a college football team and an NFL team. Really impressive. I want to show you that conversation now. This is my conversation with Cincinnati play-by-play man Dan Horde on what to expect in this Baylor versus Cincinnati game. Please enjoy.
Young boy dreams of playing college football.
The greats in broadcasting, and Dan, I don't want to just like blow all kind of smoke up your skirt, but man, Bearcats play-by-play since 2000. Cincinnati Bengals, you're the only broadcaster that handles an NFL team and a Power 4 college football team. It's incredible. 4-time Ohio Sportscaster of the Year. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Well, with an introduction like that, I'll be happy to join you anytime. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it.
I hope it's not the last time. So let's start big picture, Dan, and then we can kind of get into this matchup against Baylor. So Man, this league proved last season with Arizona State that it doesn't matter what you think of these teams coming into the season. Anybody can beat anybody, and any team can go from the bottom to the top of this conference fast. This year, it is the Bearcats. Undefeated in conference play, 6-1. Their only loss, that opening game to Nebraska. Dan, what has been the biggest factor in this turnaround from the last two seasons to this season?
Well, there are many, but it starts with quarterback Brendan Sorsby. He had his moments last year. He started the season really well, but when Cincinnati got into the thick of the Big 12 schedule, his play dropped off, and it wasn't just him. They didn't have a great wide receiver core last year, so that's the biggest upgrade on the roster. But it starts with Brendan Sorsby, and then honestly, it's just the process of becoming a Big 12 team. It's happened to Cincinnati in the past. When they were in the Big East Conference, they struggled early, but within a few years, they were the conference champion, going to the Orange Bowl and the Sugar Bowl in back-to-back seasons. So I tried to caution Cincinnati fans that something similar was likely to happen in the Big 12. You don't compete for championships right off the bat. It takes a while to build up the talent, to compete with the teams that have been in this league for a long time. But whatever league Cincinnati has been in its history, within a few years, Cincinnati is one of the better teams. I thought it would happen, and it is happening this year in the Big 12.
That's really interesting. And we, I said this to you right before we started. I think the average Baylor fan is probably least familiar with Cincinnati as far as all the Big 12 opponents. I mean, heck, we got a little bit of UCF there in the 2013 Fiesta Bowl. Like, there's some history, except with Cincinnati. What is it? You said something really interesting there, and Texas football fans that love high school football here know this. Ohio is a great high school football state, rich in talent. But what is it about the University of Cincinnati that has contributed to that history you're talking about, where kind of despite the setting, despite changes, they always seem to come up and become contenders wherever they are?
I do think it begins with high school football in Ohio. Ohio State gets its pick of the litter, but they can't keep everybody. So if you get the players that Ohio State doesn't have room for, you're typically getting some really good players. California, Florida, and Texas produce the most high school football players in the country. Ohio is fourth. So there's really good high school football in this state. And it begins there, and not just in Ohio, but in the surrounding states as well. So that's always been the formula for the University of Cincinnati. Keep players within 100 or 200 miles on your roster, and then go elsewhere to fulfill spots where you need help. And that's what Scott Satterfield and his staff have been able to do.
That's a tactic Baylor seemed to take recently with local kids in Central Texas as well. Great way to do it. You mentioned Scott Satterfield. I did want to ask you. I mean, this guy was a 500 coach at Louisville. I don't know that he was just the splashiest, best hire when he came in to replace Luke Fickell. And two kind of down years for Cincinnati here to start their time in the Big 12. But again, 6-1 rolling right now. What is it about his leadership and his presence leading this team that has led to these results this season?
Well, in terms of leadership, the guys love playing for him, and his staff loves working for him. So he's just a really good person that builds good camaraderie and team culture. In terms of his X's and O's experience, you mentioned his 4 years at Louisville. They were a little bit over 500 under difficult circumstances. They were dealing with some NCAA stuff, more in basketball than football, but it certainly didn't help him there. Prior to that, he was the hottest coach, or one of the hottest coaches out there, for what he did at Appalachian State. And he's always been really good on the offensive end. His Louisville teams, even though they didn't win big, were very productive offensively. And that's what we're seeing this year at Cincinnati. They're number 2 in the country in yards per play, number 5 in yards per rush, number 5 in passing efficiency. So they are attacking teams really however they have to. If a defense is good at stopping the run, Cincinnati throws it. If a defense is good at defending the pass, Cincinnati runs it. And that's really been the formula offensively for Scott Satterfield in the past and this year in Cincinnati.
You talk about that offense, and that's something Baylor hangs their hat on as well. But something it's not just Cincinnati that I think has kind of surprised everybody as a team, but Brendan Sorsby coming into this season, there were a lot of flashy names in this conference at quarterback, from Sawyer Robertson, Sam Levitt, even Josh Hoover, Devin Dampier. There's all these names people got excited about. And Brendan Sorsby kind of seemed, at least here in my context, to be this, well, he's pretty good. He's pretty good up there. Well, Guy's only been one of the 5 or 6 best quarterbacks in America. I think he's top 7 in the nation in QBR, playing outstanding, efficient, as you pointed out, football. How has he elevated his game this year, and why are Baylor fans going to be seeing someone really special at that quarterback position Saturday?
Well, I think the biggest thing that's elevated his play this year are the guys that he's throwing to. He's always been really talented, but last year, particularly once they got into the tail end of their Big 12 schedule where they're facing really good defenses, his wide receivers, frankly, were not getting open. So they completely changed the room. All of the guys from last year are essentially gone. All of the guys that are producing this year are new, with the exception of tight end Joe Royer, who's a great player. But Cyrus Allen, Jeff Caldwell, Caleb Goody, Noah Jennings, all of those guys have led Cincinnati in receiving yards in at least one game this year. So it's not like they brought in one good guy that he's throwing it to a million times. He's got balance. He's got weapons. He's able to pick out the open guy based on the defense that he's facing. And I think that's why Brendan Sorsby is now being recognized as one of the better quarterbacks in the country.
Before I get to this Baylor game, I want to talk about the gauntlet because Cincinnati, I would say, is ending the season in a pretty tough stretch here. Remaining schedule, obviously Baylor this week, but then Utah, Arizona, BYU, TCU still left on that schedule. All winning teams this season, all in the top half of the conference. What does Cincinnati have to take from the first half of the season and apply to the second half to keep winning? And I'm sure the message is, guys, we're undefeated in conference. Like, we control our destiny. How do they win out through the rest of these games and maybe find themselves in Arlington for a championship at the end of it?
Well, one thing that you did not run down as you talked about the 5 games that they have left is that 3 of the 5 are at home. This is a year where Cincinnati had 7 home games. And Nippert Stadium is a very difficult place for opposing teams to play and win. So the BYU game, for example, right now those 2 teams are the only 2 teams left in the league without a conference loss. That game is at Nippert Stadium. It could be College game day if they're both still undefeated at that point. Yeah, which would add to the advantage for Cincinnati. So they have to go to Utah. That's going to be really tough. They end the regular season at TCU. They would love back-to-back games in the Dallas area if they could continue on this roll and make it to AT&T Stadium for the conference championship game. So, yes, the teams that they're playing are difficult, but having 3 of those 5 games at home is a very significant advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. And it's all right in front of them. They could definitely make it. I did have a question, and you mentioning that home field environment kind of leads into it. Baylor's homecoming is actually the following weekend. Homecoming at Baylor is a much bigger deal than a lot of universities. Baylor claims to have started homecoming in college athletics. Don't know how true or not true that is. ESPN's claim. This is Cincinnati's homecoming game this weekend against Baylor. What is Cincinnati's homecoming environment like? What are some traditions Baylor fans may not know about? And how does that contribute to the football atmosphere this weekend?
Well, Cincinnati just played at Oklahoma State when it was homecoming there, and Oklahoma State builds itself as having the best homecoming in America. So apparently everybody takes credit for something where homecoming is concerned. As far as Cincinnati goes, there isn't really anything that's all that unusual. They have the parade, they have the big event the night before, kind of almost like a bonfire kind of setting, although there isn't a giant bonfire. That's kind of the vibe that you get the night before. So it's all the traditional stuff. Cincinnati's a huge school, so a lot of people come back. The stadium is going to be packed for the game. So Baylor's going to have to contend with that on Saturday. And it's special. A Hall of Fame class will be inducted the night before the game, including former Cincinnati quarterback Tony Pike and former defensive back Mike Mickens. So it's going to be a great weekend, a big weekend, and obviously Cincinnati is energized by having the 20.
Let's talk about this matchup. I think The obvious thing on paper for any casual fan is, man, these are two quarterbacks that can sling it, two high-scoring offenses. The thing that I think Baylor fans need to maybe think about is this Baylor defense is one of the worst in the country. The Cincinnati defense quietly has been outstanding. How will this Cincinnati defense deploy their guys, who are maybe some guys Baylor fans should look out for as they try to slow down Sawyer Robertson and this Baylor receiving core that's been mostly really explosive and effective this season?
The Cincinnati defense has been very good at not giving up a lot of points, which obviously is the only stat that really matters. But Cincinnati has given up yards and has had a hard time getting off the field at times, allowing third down conversions, fourth down conversions. Cincinnati is near the bottom of the country in time of possession. Now, part of that is they score quickly, so that stat can be deceiving. But in recent weeks, opponents have been able to hold on to the ball against them. So there is a little bit of a concern about the defense, even though it's fifth in the conference in points allowed so far. As for key players, they have them on every level. So up front, Dante Corleone is one of the best defensive linemen in the country. He has been battling an ankle injury. He was only in for 23 snaps last week against Oklahoma State. Now, it was a lopsided game, so they were able to keep him on the sideline. But that'll be a thing to keep your eye on for the game on Saturday. How much is Dante able to play and how effective is he? At linebacker, Jake Golday has emerged as one of the better NFL prospects in the country. Tremendous sideline-to-sideline speed, among the league leaders in tackles, excellent at getting to the quarterback when they send him. So he's the best guy at that level. And then in the secondary, cornerback Matthew McDoom, transfer from Coastal Carolina, has been excellent. He had a 100-yard pick six last week, which is a school record for the longest interception return touchdown. So they've got really good players at every level on D.
Baylor's defense has not been good, to say the least, this season. But we know if there's anything Dave Aranda is doing meticulously all week, it's watching film and looking for any flaws in the Cincinnati offense that he could potentially exploit. If you were giving a quick scouting report to Dave Aranda, where are some areas where it's like, this is where teams have found some success slowing down Brennan Sorsby in this dynamic Cincinnati offense?
Well, since the season opener, there really hasn't been anything that fits that description. In the Nebraska game to begin the season, Cincinnati had fewer than 100 passing yards. So their passing game struggled. I think two things explain why that happened. Number one, Nebraska's secondary is fantastic. Might be as good as any team in college football. And number two, as I described earlier, the entire wide receiver core is brand new. And it took some time to develop chemistry with Brendan Sorsby, to understand the nuances of the playbook. That's gotten better and better by the week. So right now, there really isn't an obvious weakness on the Cincinnati offense. Their offensive line has played great. They've only given up 2 sacks all season. As I mentioned, they're number 5 in the country in rushing yards per attempt. So the running game has been effective. They've got 2 different running backs, and it's a zoom and boom backfield. One guy's got great speed. The other guy's got great power. They've got a bunch of offensive weapons in the receiving game, including an NFL tight end in Joe Royer. So I'm sure Dave Aranda, as you mentioned, is combing through that film trying to find what that weakness is, but there honestly isn't anything obvious right now.
We've kind of been breaking down the football stuff, and that's where I enjoy hearing your perspective. It's so helpful for our audience. But Dan, what are you most excited to see in this football game, in this matchup between these two teams? What are you going to be watching for with a smile on your face?
Well, if Cincinnati can keep this rolling. So they've gained bowl eligibility, but that's not the goal. It's interesting, after missing bowls each of the last 2 years, when they won their 6th game this week, you would expect that to be a big talking point. And Coach Satterfield mentioned it briefly in the locker room after the game, but that's not the goal. They have 4 listed goals on a TV monitor in their football facility. And the 4th thing listed is simply the word Dallas. They have been focused on trying to get to the conference championship game from day one of spring football. And it seemed like a far-fetched goal to many. And I'll admit that I was a little bit skeptical as to whether that was truly realistic this year. I thought maybe if everything fell just right, they could pull off something like that, but it doesn't feel that way anymore. This is a really good football team that I honestly think stacks up with the best teams in the Big 12. So that's what I'll be focused on Saturday. Can they keep this 6-game winning streak going and keep rolling toward a possible trip to Dallas at the end of the year?
Man, that is so exciting for you guys, for Cincinnati fans, alum. That's incredible. It seems like I have a feeling that's how Arizona State's room was last season too, of like, hey, nobody outside this room thinks we can do it, but we know what we have in this building and we know we can do it. Dan, what would that mean? And I am forecasting, but what would that mean for this program if year 3 in the Big 12 after 2 underperforming seasons, if this year they do make it to Arlington, regardless of what happens or college football playoff or any of that, what would it mean in year 3 of Scott Satterfield's tenure to reach that level and say, hey, here we are at the top of the Big 12?
Well, I think in other parts of the country, people have forgotten about how recently Cincinnati was near the top of the college football mountain. They played in the 14 playoff in 2021.
Right.
That's not 1964. I mean, in very recent times, this team was one of the last 4 schools standing. The year before that, they had Georgia beat in the Peach Bowl before they squandered it in the final 2 minutes of that game. So this has been an elite program. When Luke Fickell left following the 2022 season and Cincinnati moved up to the Big 12, it was natural to expect there was going to be a little bit of a rebuilding phase, and that's happened. But I think people that follow Cincinnati football believed it was only going to be a matter of time and hopefully not a very long period of time for the Bearcats to be back in the thick of things, and it obviously hasn't taken long.
Dan Orr, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Football season, and we can create your outdoor tailgating spaces that is actually a part of your home. Bifold doors that tie in the inside and the outside, and you can gain anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet living space, all while taking in the big game poolside. Call us at Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath, where we can create your unique tailgating space.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
Baylor Nation rolls along with Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Allen Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by, let's be friends.
Everyone, hello. Guys, welcome back to Dear Sports. I am so pumped to be back in the podcast world and filming season 2 of Dear Sports. On this podcast, you're going to find stories from former and current athletes about their journey through sports and the impact it has made in their life. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow our Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on all things Dear Sports. Welcome back in. We are going to check fan poll hour 2. Andrew. Nice. How many points will the Bears need to score today? Again, Matt, they went with you.
Okay, I thought they would go with this one, the 60%. Now, what I absolutely think is that it needs to be 44 plus. But I did think, and that does 60% think 34-43, the high octane shootout. And I do like the disrespect for both defenses shown with 3% voting on the defensive grinder, the 14-23. Yeah, it's not happening. They're not going to win in that range at all. And votes rolling in there. And so we appreciate everybody participating today as we get closer and closer to kickoff. And I love these. I love the game day. I mean, I've been doing this for so long, like looking at these injury updates in the NFL, and to have some of these actually come out in the college game is kind of fun right now. And I love, I mean, there's nothing, in fact, well, there's the game day update as we speak. Boy, Andrew's quick. He really is. Polls and game day updates. The man can do it all. Really not much news. The linebacker, Terrell Holcomb, out for Cincinnati. Nobody on that list really surprises you from Baylor on the out. The game time decision, though, is very interesting because Tevin Williams would be a very welcome addition to what's going on, because they just have had a lot of inexperience. I say that some of these guys have been around for a little while. I mean, I've been talking about Reggie Bush II for seemingly a couple of years now. Williford's getting more burn. You know, Turner, they needed another Turner that transferred in, and unfortunately that didn't work out. To transfer from, well, they had transfers from Oregon, Northwestern. They had a lot of folks that transferred in this year, and it hasn't worked out. They got hurt, and I think what you're seeing, and I know we're going to have some big time Bear Essentials, and I was just thinking a minute ago about this Mission golf carts. I was watching that, and it got me kind of excited about, you know, maybe purchasing one of those, because they're not carts, they're cars. Mission golf cars, and we're so conditioned to golf carts, but these things, they just, the way they're finished out, and then some of them I think you can get like AC or heat or whatever you need in them, but you can get out on the road and you can scoot a little bit. You can just kind of, it's not just like, well, we're just going to go up here to the 18th green and get a putt. No, it's just like moving around the neighborhood a little bit. And Mission golf cars. Good to see our friend Stephanie involved over there. She was over there appearing to close a deal there and buy one of those Mission golf cars. But they do a great job. And if you're in Central Texas and you're looking for that kind of experience, and I think a lot of people are, and I think Mission golf cars is a great way to go. And
you can stop by and you say hello and tell them that Matt Mosley and the Green and Gold show sent you to receive $500 off your next new car purchase.
Nice.
Mission golf cars in Waco.
Yeah.
Check them out. That's a nice little deal.
And also Ascension Providence. Man, Scotty has, in fact, I'm surprised right now we don't have one of their doctors on talking to us about the game day update as we speak. Scotty's interviewed. Scotty has a lot of ailments, and he had an ankle specialist on recently, and Scotty kind of asked him, and Scotty's had a couple of concussions, even going back to high school. We had a concussion specialist, and so Ascension really covers a lot of ground and a lot of different
I am not that fragile, Mr.
medical
Mosley.
disciplines.
Watch your mouth.
He's a very fragile man, and but they can help on so many fronts. And I just think Ascension Providence, we've been so great to work with them. And then one of their former longtime employees is a buddy of ours, Kevin. Kevin's Scotty was just texting me from the stadium. He's there. Nice. He's there. He's at Cincinnati, whatever they call this, Nippert Stadium, I believe. I think that's the name of it. And this is a place where Baylor should have some good feelings from a couple of years ago when they came into this conference. But Satterfield's doing a little bit what we've seen Dave do a couple of times in his time, like kind of start to show you, hey, maybe they got this thing turned around. And what Cincinnati has done is have a bad opening loss to Nebraska. It wasn't a blowout or anything. It was a Matt Rule team. Matt had given one of his patented speeches, and Nebraska went out and got a win. And since then, Cincinnati's beaten everybody. Mm-hmm. And this is a big test for them, though, because as down as a lot of Baylor fans are on the coaching staff and just this team in general, Baylor is still extremely explosive on offense. And when Sawyer is in a good place, and he has been throughout a lot of his career, I mean, he could put up some huge numbers and huge yards. The key is going to be, as we kind of get toward our Bear Essentials.
This is a great time for it.
Yeah. I think both defense and offensively, but mainly we're sticking with offense right now, is the red zone.
Yeah.
I mean, you get down there, there's really no settling for field goals. And there have been times this season where, like, well, if you kick the field goal, maybe they don't lose by 3 to Arizona State. You can quibble with some of that. But in a game that will likely combine, the two teams will combine for upwards of 80 to 85 points, you got to be scoring and you got to be getting touchdowns, and you can't have, I kind of think of settling. And again, I like this kicker. This kicker's really come through this season, but I think of field goals today as empty possessions. I really do. And you can't, in most of with true football people, you can't think like that. Most you can't. But unfortunately, with this Baylor defense, that's how you have to think. You have to score, and keep scoring, and then hope your defense at some point gets in there and helps you. And I do think the defense is capable of a takeaway. They have had takeaways this season. I would say, unfortunately, Cincinnati's kind of in the middle of the country in terms of their plus minus, and they're plus. I think they're about +5 or +6 for the season. They're fine. It's fine. It's not great. It's fine. Baylor's right now around, I think, -7. I was looking at this earlier or yesterday, and that's way down. Yeah. That's way down in the country, and it's just and of course it didn't help that last weekend there were the 3 interceptions by Sawyer. Now, one of them was they're desperate at the end. They're desperately trying to come back. I mean, not all interceptions are built the same, but he has made some poor decisions. Even starting, he had a couple of really poor decisions in that Samford game. And then he had some really bad decisions. So, again, I think part of my Bear Essentials faith is to just not turn the ball over and then maybe I'm just asking for one takeaway. And I would say, I don't know if we even have numbers on this, but I would say that, like, if you had who has the fewest sacks in the country, I'm afraid the Bears would be atop that list. And that's another rough area. Yeah. And this quarterback, as I said, the old adage, especially in the NFL, that you hear a lot, you must affect the quarterback. And this team has not done it enough. They have at times applied some pressure, but then these quarterbacks escape out the backside or go on the run. And this guy's capable of that. In fact, Sorsby, I think, he's rushed for about 350 yards and a handful of touchdowns this year. So he's very capable in that area. And it just shows you, I think that's the frustrating thing, is Baylor has a lot of the same things that Cincinnati has, but they don't have the record to show for it. They have good, talented running backs, got great receivers, got a great quarterback, and what we thought was a pretty solid O-line, but the O-line has been a little leaky at times. And so that's been a bit of a bummer. What are you thinking essential wise?
I think you look at the losses that Baylor's had, and so we had Auburn, we had SMU, and now this TCU one is where I'm like, that's where if we would have won that game, then you're looking at 2 non-conference losses that you can kind of vouch for of like, okay, it's not going to matter. But I think that's why it makes this game so big today is, hey, we can really capitalize on another away game on the road once again, playing a top 25 opponent. I would love to see like those sparks of the defense that we were talking about a little bit earlier, like LeVar Thornton, Jacob Redding, like those guys have been able to make a couple of things happen. Turner, seeing some spark come out of him as well. But I would like to see, why am I blanking? I would like to see Trig go off. Like just him to have like a powerhouse game of Sawyer really utilizing him. I think that's a big key of you've seen some spurts of Trig, but I'd like to see us capitalize on what he can do.
Yeah, and that's a good one because Trig, though he let the Bears down a little bit with a couple of, he just wasn't playing great. I have to say, one thing, I kept my eye on him coming out from those breaks. And I liked what I saw. And when I say breaks, they had all those lightning delays.
Yeah, 4 of them. Jeez.
And I remember him coming out, and there was something after it was one where you thought the game was over.
Mm-hmm.
They were about to score again, and it was like maybe the 3rd. He came back out. It was after the 2nd delay. And I kind of liked his attitude. And I kind of like how he was jumping around, like trying to, I thought he actually showed some leadership. And then late, when they were desperately trying to get in the game, he ran over several people.
Yeah.
So he has the capability, just like you're saying, to just really impact the game in a lot of ways and just kind of inflict some damage. Like here's what I'd love to see. How about throw the first punch?
How
about I don't want a thing where it's like, well, we played pretty well first 25 plays. That's about the best we've. What was the score? What was the score? What did it matter that you played well 25 plays? You got to cash in and then maybe get out there and throw the first punch.
Yeah, I think I think it's also going to be like another quarterback shootout too. You're going to see both of these guys throw a whole bunch of yards. It's really going to come down to production from the offense. So I agree with your point of like, let's throw the first punch. Let's have a 14-0 in the first quarter. I'd love to see Baylor up.
I'm with you, and I think they're capable of doing that with the firepower they have. And here's the deal. And they used to do this with Emmitt Smith, even when he was hurt. And I hate to compare, the greatest rusher of all time to Bryson, but how about, if he's going to be violent, let him be violent for a little while, like inflict some pain on him in the first, not him, but hopefully on the opposing defense, and then sprinkle everybody else in or manage him differently. Decide to start Michael, decide to start Caden, and then try to save him up if you need him to finish. But the point you brought up earlier was a really good one in the fact that we probably jumped past that Dawson injury too quickly. We knew it was bad and we hated it, but there seemed to be enough weapons. And what happened is, in addition to that, then they started losing player after player on defense. Jackie wasn't ready to go at the start of the season, and this team is getting dominated up front. And it just happens week in, week out, and it puts too much pressure on the linebackers and the safeties, and it just has a trickle-down effect. And, man, I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I've been so down on this defense, but I would be so thrilled to see them make some plays or have some kind of nice performance.
Yeah,
But,
I agree. Yeah. I'm on the same boat. We so easily forget too, like having Dawson out. We had Richard Reese on our roster last year, who then ended up transferring, who had an unreal first year for us. So having him transfer, then Dawson gets hurt. I mean, you had a nice back seat of 3 guys that can really do some damage, and one of them is gone. Rightfully so. I mean, you can kind of see the writing on the wall that he may not be able to get some touches this year, but you never know if an injury is going to happen. So he probably would have been able to see him a little bit this year. But no, I'm with you, Matt. I agree. I do think that I'll give out my score prediction. 45 Baylor, 42 Cincinnati. I think it's going to be a fight. Big quarterback shootout, high scoring game.
45-42. Okay, same score of the A&M Arkansas game. All right, as we're wrapping it up, I'll give my score 52-49.
Oh, wow.
We're going high. And bet the over. And Baylor. Yeah. I mean, now he has a mic over there, but that was a disembodied. That was a shout across the beautiful studio. I like that. And and I'm surprised Scotty didn't get over here and grab that BYU helmet again. The man loves to put a helmet on. This has been the Green and Gold Game Day show.
BYU will beat Iowa State,
and
I'll take Cincinnati.
2.5. Okay, we'll put something on that one.
42-31.
Oh, you're taking, okay, Scotty getting heavily involved here. I like that. You're taking, good. I'm glad the Baylor Green and Gold Game Day show, he's predicted the other team. He's coming strong with the Cincinnati prediction. Boy, thank you, Faith. This has been fun. Yes. I mean, Pearson, Lizzie, Andrew, Scotty, all our Rogue Media buddies. And this has been a really fun time being in studio with you. Alan Samuels, it is just Mission Golf Cars, so many great partners that we have.
Bank.
Oh, Central National Bank, thank you. In fact, I'm coming by with another deposit. I hope they can. And they stay there late for you. They're there. They'll answer the phone till 10 o'clock at night. So this is a great thing. But thank you, Faith.
Yes,
and look forward. We got homecoming. Next time we see you, it will be homecoming. We still don't have a game. We don't have a start time on that, but we'll find that out, and then we'll get word out when we'll be doing it from right over there in the Brazos parking, and we'll have a fun show on homecoming as the Bears get ready to take on UCF. Faith, been great. For Faith Lynch, I am Matt Mosley. This has been your Green and Gold Game Day pregame show.
Nation rolls along with Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Alan Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by. Let's be friends.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
At Camp Info Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.